All right, we ready? Hi, I'm Tanya Hope, PR Manager for the San Antonio Airport System, TONYAHOPE. As of May 7th, 2025, all travelers must present a real ID identification or acceptable identification. If you're planning to fly on any commercial flight, you will definitely need real ID. Without real ID, you will not be able to enter the TSA checkpoint. Patty Mancha is here from TSA to talk more about the guidelines for flying.
I guess we can switch
Yep.
out the...
Did I need to do that again for anybody?
No.
Everybody good?
Got it.
You need help removing all those?
I think I got it.
Do you want me to put that on, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna put that on there real quick.
Okay. Here, I'll just do it from the... I'll do it from the back and do...
And here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that yours?
Yeah, no, it's not actually. Yeah. Okay, so we got. I don't know whose that's. It's mine. Oh, okay. Here you go. We'll just,
All right, let's see.
we'll just set it here. It'll
Oh,
pick up.
okay.
I have one more.
That's mine.
Where are we?
Bueno, igual ahorita te acerca más para acá, ¿verdad?
Sí, como tú gustes. Okay.
You want to slip this underneath your blouse?
Oh, this one's here.
And can you clip that onto your back? I can do that if you need to, or you can. And then I'll just go over your shoulder.
Okay. Trying to see. Have enough room there?
Oh, you're fine.
No, but on the on my back there. Well,
It'll work. I'm gonna.
got it. Okay. There.
I'm actually just put it this side. if
Okay,
That's okay.
that's
with
fine.
everybody. So. Collar a little bit.
All right. Ready.
All right.
Ready. Where do you want me to look? Straight ahead? Is that- okay.
And I'm ready, and everybody else is.
Okay, y'all ready?
Patricia Mancha, PATRICIA, MANCHA, media spokesperson for TSA in the state of Texas. So a reminder that Real ID is upon us. May 7th is our deadline, and for travelers who want to travel May 7th and beyond, you are required to present a Real ID when you get to the TSA checkpoint. For people who don't have a Real ID, you must go to your state Department of Motor Vehicle where you live. So it's, if you're in Texas, obviously Texas. If you're in another state, then you need to go to your state Department of Motor Vehicle office and get your Real ID. A reminder that most offices require an appointment and a wait time. So it's not an immediate process where you're going to go, walk in, and be able to get your document that same day. If you don't have a Real ID, it's really important that you start the process to get that going today. Any questions?
How does this improve security?
As a result of the 9/11 Commission, this was a recommendation that came through. For multiple reasons, the deadline has been extended several times. But this is really about identity verification, making sure that the person or the traveler is the person who indeed presents the identification. So this is part of secure flight and making sure that the traveler who is traveling and presents the ID is the same person.
You mentioned it was pushed back a few times. Why was it? 'Cause for years we've been saying get your real ID, but now it's finally the real deadline.
Well, a lot of it had to do with the fact that people just hadn't really gotten their real ID. Some of it was COVID. There were just so many factors involved, and we're talking millions and millions of people. And so it's really important to remind travelers that, some people say, I don't travel often, or I only travel once a year. Doesn't matter. You will still be required to present a real ID. Now, for people who don't have one, what's going to happen is pretty much the same process that occurs when someone doesn't have an ID, like if their wallet is stolen or they lost their ID on their trip. They will go to the checkpoint and they will be set aside. They will be required to provide certain information, answer certain questions about themselves. This is not a fast process, and there's no guarantee that once this process is started that the individual will be allowed to fly. So we want to make that very clear. We will make every effort to try to accommodate, but if we cannot verify the person's identity, then the person will not be allowed to enter the checkpoint. It's also not a fast process. So we may be able to verify your identity, but it may take 2 or 3 hours, so you may miss your flight.
Earlier, you said the state of Texas has the star. You said California has the bear and the star. You also said some states don't have that.
So each state has its own design on their driver's license or their enhanced ID. There's also what we call enhanced ID, and states like New York have that. Some people don't drive, so they don't have a driver's license. So they may have just an identification card or an enhanced ID. Every state has its own design because it's a state function.
Well, if someone from New York has their license and they want to come to San Antonio or leave, how's that process? Since you guys know that New York is a certain license.
Yes, our machinery is equipped to identify valid documents from every state and territory in the United States.
So this started around 2016 that the Real ID was proposed and everyone was starting to be reminded. A lot of people since then have renewed their licenses and ID, so a good chunk of America already has it.
That's correct. But some states were slower in adopting the Real ID practice. So in some states, if you haven't renewed a license or you just don't drive, you may not have a Real ID.
And I've renewed it, and I don't even remember. Is there a separate section when you renew your license that asks extra questions for this?
One of the things that happens now when someone renews a license or gets a license for the first time is that certain documents are required, like a birth certificate, social security card, other form of identification that validates either your citizenship or your lawful residence in the United States. And that's the process of obtaining a Real ID.
Just to clarify, so if you don't have that enhanced ID, are you not allowed to fly, or is it just the extended screening?
Well, it's the extended screening, but there's no guarantee that you will be allowed to fly. So we want to make that very clear that people can go through that enhanced process. There will be verification of your identity, but there's no guarantee that once you start that process that you will be allowed entry. So that's something that's very clear. Now, for people who are not citizens or lawful permanent residents of the United States and say are international travelers, the documents which you used to lawfully enter the U.S. are the same documents that will be used at the checkpoint. Any other questions? Let's see. So travelers under the age of 18 are not required to show an ID. Their guardian or whomever it is that is bringing them to the checkpoint is the person that presents the ID, and that's the same process now. Children or minors under the age of 18 are not required to present a Real ID. For tribal members of federally recognized tribes in the United States, federally recognized IDs or federally recognized members of tribes are able to travel with their tribal identification. Any other questions? I think the key takeaways from today: Real ID deadline May 7th. Start the process to get your ID today. If you don't know how to get information, go to TSA.gov, and our website has a list of all the authorized IDs. or go to Ask TSA or any of our social media platforms, where you will get a response to your question in less than an hour, generally in 3 minutes or less. Anything else?
A passport won't work.
Passport will work. Yes. So a passport will work, but many people in the United States don't have a passport.